Here.
Smith,
Here.
Sullivan,
Here.
Walden.
Here. All right, up next, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2023 council meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Walden,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
All righty, up next, we got the motion to approve the payment of bills as they appear on the warrant sheets. A motion for that, please.
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Burgess,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Walden.
Yes.
All righty, up next, public comments on agenda items. Guys got anything? We'll kind of go through it. Not gonna be a long, not too long of a night, it's gonna be kind of longer than before. Alrighty, up next, we got communications from the mayor, so there's a few things I've got to say and thank, and first off, I'd like to thank everybody that helped with Connor Rollcliff Day. It was a great Saturday. Thank Angel for helping putting that all together. We got a lot of things done. We cleaned a couple of places with gutters. Julie and I, we helped next door, got the place there cleaned up. Then I voluntarily mowed it. I'll tell you, I was sore by 5:30. So it looks a lot better. And then we also cleaned up the corner house there off of Poplar and Leafland. We got that cleaned up. So all in all, it was a great day. Dana got the sign up that's there at the park. We got a lot of work done there. Got the stage built. Then also got the painted roadways made. So it really looks good. So everybody go out there and take a look at it and check it out for yourself. And then also, I do want to let you know, I did receive an email. However, I received an email from Senator McClure's office. D6 Geometrics, a lady by the name of Lori Williams is designing the J-turn. That's where we're at. So, how long that's going to take, we don't know. They mentioned the money is there, but it is at least with an engineering firm. And that is the engineer that's going to be designing it. So, that's where we're at on that. And then also I want to let you know, check around your places. I'll be sending out letters for mowing, for people that aren't doing it, just like I did last year. I sent a couple of letters out already for people that's been burning trash. Talked to Gary, sounds like we're going to send out a couple more. I've also sent a letter out for a dilapidated building, so I'm kind of being proactive on that and getting it all addressed. And then also, I want to thank the employees, Dana and Jack especially. The power was out here in Assumption for a little over an hour. Dana and Jack both went.
No, that was just Jack.
Oh, just Jack? Okay, so he went to the water plant and basically hung out there to make sure everything was running fine. And I thought that was a great thing, so I just wanted to say thank you for that. And then also thank Jackson Bug for graduating. He recently graduated on Friday, so he's now going full-time. He's in the Guard, he's doing reserves right now. He'll be working this weekend, this Saturday. So, was he going to be working tomorrow? I know you mentioned Thursday, but.
Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow,
No.
that's okay. Well, you at least mentioned the weekend, so. Then also want to remember our veterans, everything. I know the VFW is going to be putting on a show, a memorial like they always do, so we sort of go out there and, support them for that. And also, as everybody knows, the garbage contract with Waste Management is coming up at the end of the year. We just want to kind of be mindful, kind of start looking into that. Gary will be the public health chairman, and also Andy Smith will be the vice chairman, and Selena will serve on there. So I'm not saying we're going to have a meeting now, but just we need to be thinking about that. I only had one issue with Waste Management, and it wasn't their fault. But I know a lot of people have had situations with Waste Management. Janet and I have been back and forth because there's one place I don't know what the problem is. We've been as far as we could. They finally got it. But it's just something we need to be thinking of. The garbage contract is up. Start now, kind of looking and see if there's anybody, see if anybody's even interested. A couple of years ago when Mayor Cal brought the contract in, nobody wanted to come to Assumption. So it's just something that we need to think about. And other than that, that is it. We'll turn over to the city attorney.
Okay, thank you. The only thing that I'd like to make sure everybody is aware of is that the Shahade cases are dismissed. He has voluntarily dismissed them and they're gone with prejudice, and hopefully we'll hear nothing more from him. So, the orders were entered earlier this week.
Yes, thank you.
All right, treasurer, you got anything you'd like to?
Maybe not.
Okay. All righty, alderpersons, you guys have anything? All right, well, we want to definitely thank Susie, again, for her 4 years. All right, city clerk, got anything? All right, if there's nothing else, we'll go into the new business, and it'll be swearing in the newly elected. We'll start with the alderman first, go with the city treasurer, and then go with myself. So, Ross, we'll have you come on up here and get sworn in with the alderman. So we have, we'll start with Ward 1. So, Donna, you're in a 4-year term. Oh, 2-year? Okay. So Gary is a 4-year, Travis is a 4-year, and Ross is a 4-year term. If you want to do it like that, we'll do the 4 years together. Would you like to have the honor of swearing them in? You just read it off the list. So if you want to stand, so Ross, Gary, and okay, you got a 2 years, so we'll do 4 years first.
So, ready? I state your name. You repeat after me, sorry. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderperson
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of all persons
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. 2-year terms, we have Donnie Walden for Ward 1 and Casey Smith for Ward 2.
So, same drill. I state your name.
I, Candy Smith,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I'll support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution, say that again,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderperson
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderperson
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right, Angel, you're up.
You can see it by yourself.
Now, did you get the instructions or should I? Okay, I
Angel Palmer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of treasurer to the best of my ability.
of treasurer to the best of my abilities.
All right, now me. All right.
That's the right name.
All right, I, Derek Page,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. All right, before we move forward, we'll make committee announcements. So I'll kind of read it out loud. Wrote a letter to the clerk. Dear Madam Clerk, pursuant to Assumption City Ordinance 1-5-4, I hereby make the following committee appointments. For police, the chairman will be Alderman Smith, vice chairman Nelson, and Donnie Walden will be a member. For streets, it'll be Travis Sullivan as chairman, Selena Reed as vice chairman, and Candy Smith will be a member. For water and wastewater, it'll be Donnie Walden as chairman, Travis Sullivan as vice chairman, and Ross Workman as a member. For parks, it will be Ross Workman as a chairman, Donnie Walden as vice chairman, and Sullivan as a member. For finance, it will be Gary Nelson as chairman, Selena Reed as vice chairman, and Ross Workman as a member. And then we'll have the Public Health Committee, and it will be Gary Nelson as chairman, Selena Reed as vice chairman, and Reed as a member. I'm sorry, Candy Smith as the vice chairman, Reed as a member. And ordinance will be, chairman will be Alderman Reed, and of course, all the aldermen are on that. These appointments are effective immediately at the close of the city council meeting on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023, and last until May 7th, 2025. If anybody has any questions, please have them reach out to me. So there you go. So it'll start this month, your new committees. All right, up next, we also have a motion to approve a civility pledge. This came out of IML. As you all know, just not here in Assumption, but across the nation and Illinois, there's been a lot of civil discourse dealing with politics. Not every county board, city board get along. So it's kind of an idea that came out of there about doing a civility pledge. And basically, all you're doing is that you're just signing it, saying that you will be civil. And I was going to read it. We do, we have a,
I got it, Derek.
you got it, you wanna just read it?
It's
Yeah.
right here.
In the interest of I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. And then we all have one.
I want to sign, so. Just need a motion to approve that?
I'll make the motion.
All right, thank you. We have a second? All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Walden,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Nelson, Workman.
Yes. Very proud that there were no fights over that.
There wasn't, but I was a little worried we might not get a second. Okay, up next, we have, we're gonna kind of do the tentative budget. Go through it a little bit. We also have Ron here from Chastain to kind of talk about some stuff with the water. I will say, we got everything to balance. Just for clarity, I will state the first budget that I proposed to the Finance Committee, I cut fireworks out. In turn, Finance Committee added fireworks and cut the travel budget, so got me. Because for one, that's what we used to go up to the IMF conference. I'm fine with that. It's not a problem. It also cut down our Christmas party. So I figure, help us, we be the good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And so the cuts, we did very good, but just in order to get everything balanced, it's what's required by law. So if you kind of look, just kind of go over it broadly. If you have any questions, kind of stop me. But under the revenues, we're projected to have $853,900. Just to kind of give you a bit of an idea, we budgeted for our local government distribution money and also the income tax money, $155,000. We ended up getting $171,048.17. So I think that was really good. So then I upped that up to $190,000. Hope that we could get it. Everything else, I kept it all in line with where we already were. So for instance, like the property tax replacement tax, we got $48,090.81. I put it at $50,000. Another thing that stood out was our sales tax. We got $196,784.41. I was a little bit conservative, so I just upped it up to $200,000. And then of course with the 1% sales tax that we have, we get $164,832.86. I upped it to $165,000. Everything else we pretty well stayed in line. Gaming, just to let everybody know, we got $25,171.83. We budgeted $26,500. I took it down to $26,000 on that. The American Rescue, we're not, of course, going to be getting that anymore, but we still have that money that we have to use by the end of December 2026. So, as you can kind of see in the budgets, we did put that line item in there. It's not, I did not include it part of the total overall budget because it's something that is not what, like liquid. So, then also, as you can see, I did include the school resource officer The annual line item budget for that I put at $35,000. We'll talk about that later, but I had to get that number in if we end up approving that. So I just wanted to make everybody be prepared for that. On the administrative side, really, I mean, we kept everything. I will say, thanks to Jamal, our attorney, we ended up spending $41,939.90 in legal fees. It was quite a bit more than what we had budgeted of $25,000. So with that, we did, I knew that what was going on with Jamal, that it was gonna be ending, so, and finance kind of agreed, we lowered it back down to $35,000. So, don't get any, yeah, don't get too excited now.
Take my pants.
Some other things, office expense, we did at $6,000, postage, at $800, telephone flags is getting expensive. We ended up spending, $1,447, we got $1,500 for that. And then as you can see, we did put the fireworks in at $9,300. The audit, for help we put in at $14,000. Our insurance, we figured we paid $47,852, we ended up budgeted $49,000. So for the administrative side of things, $425,100 is what we have budgeted for. Now, when it comes down to streets, I didn't really mess with anything on the streets of what Darren provided because he definitely stayed well within his budget. But there is some things that we did increase because we're going to do some projects, and that is for sidewalks, repairs and maintenance of sidewalks. That is now up to $36,000, up from what was spent of $24,076.16. Mowing is basically still staying the same, about $2,000. I mean, gas is fuel. We budgeted up to $8. We only spent $5, but it's good to always be prepared. That is one thing I did want to let everybody know. You'll see this capital outlay, vehicle and equipment for the building. That money is from the equipment. It was in our savings, so it's not part of our revolving general loan money. However, there is something I do want to kind of mention. I mentioned this to Adam, and he'll probably talk about it when we do our audit. Is at the end of the fiscal year, the dollar amount that we have. So let's say we've got $250,000 just left in the general revenue. Taking a percentage of that, and instead of getting like a CD, putting that into the savings, because we need to think about the revolving vehicles that we have coming up. We're going to have to get one for Jack. Next year we're going to have to get a new squad car. So I'm kind of thinking with this savings account, taking a part of the money for that and doing it. Years ago, they used to take the money and buy a CD with it. They took a percentage. So it's something to think about we can do this year. I don't know how to show it as an expense because it's going into a general revenue savings account that we have access to. So it's just something that I'm kind of thinking of. I talked it over with Gary, so we might be looking at doing that down the road. Going to police, now for the salary, I will say it is up to we spent for the salary $118,281.12. It is now, I budgeted $196,000. The reason for that is because we do have, when the school came to me and was mentioning about a school resource officer, I felt that it was my job to present to the council to show that we can do it. Yeah, we had to make some sacrifices, a little bit here and there, but it's nothing too drastic. And so I'm presenting a budget that does include it. What I did was that I incorporated $75,000. Now that is the max of that's including his benefits, salary is the top of $75,000. Now we could end up paying the person $40,000, $50,000, but I at least allocated $75,000. As you also know on the agenda, we have a pay raise for Jackson and Brian on there. So I've incorporated ideas for those too, but I at least wanted to let you know that was my line of thinking. Gas and oils at $8,000. Police clothing, we did up it, especially if we end up hiring a school resource officer for $3,000. Repairs and maintenance equipment is $1,000. That is pretty much it. He does have $18,000 that was promised to him from the COVID money. And Brian, I know you wanted to talk about some things with a taser. He's going to be purchasing that probably through the donations that he's received. And then also another thing is, do the school resource officer and with the vehicle, buying a radio. Now I will say, if you look at the line item for the supplies expense, he spent $2,272. We budgeted $8,000 for that. So with it all said and done, the total budget that's coming out of the general revenue that covers our administration, the, streets, and the police is $852,750. The net surplus, if you wanna call it, remember, not everybody's gonna use every penny that's given to them, it'd be $1,150, so, we got that lined up. All right, if you go under, water, to the water fund, if you look at collections, we collected $204,740.85. I budgeted, I really didn't go up as high as I thought, but I wanted to remain conservative, so I just did it at $205,000. Turn off fees, I did the same at $1,000. Bulk water sales, you will notice, we didn't collect anything, I will tell you, so I talked to Jack about that.
It's been turned in.
Well, but it wasn't turned in this fiscal year.
Right,
You see from the last fiscal year, so it's turned in now.
it didn't get deposited in time.
Yeah, so it won't
I
show
had
up.
it done before May 1st. I had it
When
in,
did you take it in, depending on what time they close their business days? So if you took it in Friday afternoon,
Thursday.
Thursday morning,
Well, Thursday right before they closed.
then it should have been posted on Friday.
Okay. You don't happen to know how much, just curious.
1,800.
1,800. So, about 2,500. Well, anyway, hopefully, I budgeted 2,500. Hopefully we can get the extra $700 out of the bulk water sales. But anyway, kind of going down transfers in, we did $94,162. That's, we did $95,000 on budgeting. Then also there are some things through the EPA loan proceeds. We updated that through Shastine's. It's now $2,715,000. As you well know, that is continuously revolving because of all the projects that we have. And the EPA grant that's through the lead. Ron, I will tell you, I left that in there because I know that money is still accounted for, but we haven't given that out. So I just deducted what was spent from what was originally allocated. That left us with $129,459.70.
Okay.
There was some things that we did remove that we no longer need, like the phase one line items. We do not need that anymore. And then also the second round of COVID money. There's also, we put in there the line item for the water treatment plant of $3,600,000. So hopefully we'll be receiving that money this fiscal year. So if you look at the total water fund income, $6,798,409.70. Kind of go through a little bit of the expenses, the salary, we budgeted $82,000. I put in for $83,000 for that. Kind of the engineering fees is at $100,000, considering some of the stuff that we're gonna have going on. Telephone capital some of the new stuff, so you see capital outlay phase 2, the water main and lead service, that's $2,690,000. Capital outlay for the water treatment plant is $3.6 million. As you can see, it's also showing we got the revenue coming in, the revenue going out. We won't be using it all for this fiscal year, be a continuously revolving thing. And then of course, I got the ARPA money in there too as an expense that was received. So the total expenditures on that is $6,672,800. Wastewater, basically your sewage, we collected $199,246.73. So I budgeted $200,000 for that. Penalties, we did $2,301.81. I budgeted $2,300. And then also they've got the EPA loan proceeds. We'll be getting $7,356,488. That is for the new project that's coming up. So then you kind of look through that, kind of move it out. Utilities, we got at $20,000. Gas and oils at $6,000. Repairs and maintenance, $35,000 for the sewer. And then you can kind of see the capital outlay. Sewer construction phase 2, $7,356,488. And then also the IEPA loan principal. We paid that for last fiscal year, and it was $66,985.12. We made a payment, so I figured we'd probably make a payment this year for $72,000. Total expenses of $7,584,988. Parks and Recreation, pretty much we get that money from taxes. I budgeted, we received $7,860.21. I budgeted $7,900. And then also we promised some COVID money, so we've got that. Donations, I kind of put in 500, I really didn't know how it would be with it, but I figured we'd at least maybe get $500 over the course of the year, for a grand total of $26,450. Now, with expenditures, you know, we spend $3,270 on mowing, budgeted $3,300. For miscellaneous expenses, $3,000. We're only gonna be spending about $8,450 out of that 26,000 is what I project. Recycle, health, and garbage, property taxes wise, we received $18,969.92. Budgeted $19,000. Interest income, $175,000 for a grand total of $19,175. We got a salary, that comes out of that, dumpster rentals, that we pay for, but also, I kinda wanna get off subject and ask about the attorney about this. We actually have quite a bit of money sitting in this account. Is it possible, even though we get money from property taxes, could we use the money out of this to help clean up some of these properties that maybe we might end up having to do?
And this is just a, subcategory. of-
Subcategory. Well, it's recycle, health, and garbage, so you get your own check right from the county with it.
From the, but it's, but for your budget purposes,
Mhm.
your, record keeping, this is all just part of the general budget. right?
No,
No.
it's not part of the general fund, no, it's its own separate.
It's only
separate?
separate.
Mhm.
Then I don't believe so, I don't think
Okay.
you can move it from one fund to another.
To another, okay. But could we just say, hey, because it should be recycle, health, and garbage,
I
if you
mean,
take
yes, I
something
mean,
down?
You could,
I don't know what the stipulations were, since
Adjust
it's
your-
devoted
yeah, I-
from property taxes.
right, I don't, it kind of depends on, and I think you could probably call that
Mhm.
the right thing to make that part of the garbage and
Exactly, It's
recycling.
one thing,
Health, I mean, it is health.
it is health, exactly, because that's how we pay, Dane out of animal control
Mm-hmm.
with that. So it's just something I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something we all can think about here. All right, coming up, motor fuel tax, we won't worry about anything with that, Darren handles that, and that runs on a calendar year basis. TIF district, that includes property taxes, we got $78,621.90. I budgeted, I was conservative, $80,000. Interest income, $375, for a grand total of $80,375. What I did was I did TIF district expenses, made it pretty broad, considering what's some of the things that we might possibly have going on, at $70,375, and then TIF assistance at $10,000. I did cut out the facade program, because I figured we're pretty well, we're done with that. You can always incorporate it into TIF assistance if something needs to be done. And then also, we can move it around, even though it's $10,000, if we go over that, we can always take it from the district, TIF district expense line. So it's all encompassed in one, for a grand balance of $80,375. IMRF fund, we're just about done, the property taxes in, collected $43,950.44. I budgeted basically $44,000. We get transfers in, which is, you do that, because we're taking it from the general on that, so I did $20,000, that's what we did last go around, for $64,000 in revenue. Of course, the retirement benefits that we pay out, $64,000 there. Social Security, kind of basically the same thing, collect 55, we collect $15,008.96. Budget-wise, we budgeted just $15,000, transfers in $7,000 from the payroll, for a total revenue of $22,000. The expenses, the employer, Social Security, miscellaneous expenses of $19,000. So a little bit, maybe of about $3,000 of, just kind of slaughtering there from what we had spent. Last one, unemployment comp fund, property tax wise, we only got $400. We did appropriate for the budget $1,000 in, but we didn't end up using it, so I kept it. For a total revenue of $1,400, we spent $650. We spent actually $630.52, I budgeted $650. That's it, anybody, that's the tentative budget, so we'll go ahead, approve it tonight, then put it in ordinance form, so required by law, and we'll vote on it in, June. But we have to get the tentative budget, so we can do payroll and pay the bills for this month, so.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion, do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Thanks for sitting through this and learning. All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
Nelson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes,
Sullivan,
Yes.
Walden,
Yes.
Workman.
Yes.
Alrighty, up next, we have a motion to renew CD, and that's number 16464 for $200,000 for 6 months. Can I have a motion to approve that, please, for the best available rate?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Reed,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Walden,
Yes.
Workman,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Alright, right here, this kinda goes with what I was talking about with recycle, health, and garbage. Motion to approve to renew CD number 1203217 for $15,000 for the recycle, health, and garbage for 6 months.
I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
Alright, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Walden,
Yes.
Workman,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Alrighty, motion to approve to renew the CD number 1212724 for $20,173.52 for the general fund for 6 months.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Walden,
Yes.
Workman,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Alrighty, up next, we have a motion to approve an appointment for the zoning board. As you know, Ross used to serve on the zoning board. That position had become open with him winning alderman. And I am appointing Herb Palmer to that position, so. Talked to him and he's interested in joining, so just need a motion to approve Herb Palmer for the zoning board.
I'll make that motion.
Alright, you have a second?
I'll second it.
Either one. Alright, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Walden,
Yes.
Workman,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes. Alrighty, up next, discussion and action is necessary on terms and conditions of the school resource officer. So I'm gonna kinda turn it over to the attorney. Chief Wade is also gonna kind of inject, when needed, talk about this. As you well know, school had, talked about this, and, they brought it up in a meeting, last year, a couple of times, but then we just never really heard anything. And, then I got to, as you well know, the last council meeting, they came and they talked about it. Here, but there's just some things that I wasn't happy with, there's some things that the board wasn't happy with. So then I went to the school board meeting and, gave them my concerns, about some of the issues of, us working under a Mowequa police officer per se. So, it was brought up at the school board meeting, one of the school board members brought it up, it's like, okay, if the city can provide their own, and they pay half the salary, half the benefits, would that be something that we could do? And I said, yeah, I think so. So I felt then, as my duty as mayor is to present an item like that forward. I presented it in the budget, and I presented, we have a contract here that we're gonna kinda go over and talk about. And, we'll also say, if this does end up, going through, Chief Wade and I have talked about for a vehicle. I know we've talked about, eventually we need to get Jack a new vehicle, we could use Dana's vehicle, cause Dana would then inherit Jack's vehicle for it, and getting it outfitted. Then also, I mean, worst case scenario, if we can't, we've got that, summer help truck for it on using. But we're hoping that we don't get to that yet. So anyway, turn it over to the attorney to kinda go over and talk about it.
Okay, well, after the last meeting that the school district in Mowequa were here discussing this, as Eric said, we talked about going ahead and putting something together for your consideration. We started with a document that was presented to us from the school district, so I went through that and kind of turned it around to where it's more centric to Assumption rather than to Mowequa or the school district. So, that has gone through a couple of versions, in conjunction and in coordination with Derek, to where we thought it, seemed to do what we needed. And, I apologize for the confusion. Apparently, when I was sending things out today, I sent an older version of the draft agreement rather than the one with all of my changes on it. So Derek was able to print one off.
It is good so you can see the changes that were made in red.
And then, yeah, the changes were basically modifications from what the school district proposed
That's it.
to us. And, again, among the other things I was trying to accomplish was to keep, assumptions authority over the school resource officer. He will be an employee of the city, not of the school district, not of Mowequa. His primary duty station will be in Assumption. If he goes to Mowequa or other places, that's only with the approval of the chief of police. All discipline, all evaluations will be conducted by the chief and/or in conjunction with the school district. The school district, there are a couple of questions that I think this board needs to think about, and the main one, in my mind, has to do with when the officer, or, you know, when the school district reimburses the village or the city for their half of the
Benefits payment.
benefits and payment, and when the city informs the school district of what that amount is each month. Their original version said that, and it's printed out funny, so I apologize, but there is a provision in here that they will pay.
Right here,
There's
C,
your-
miscellaneous, either party, well, or no, I'm sorry. As you vote.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, E, right here, the city shall initially pay all of the school resource officer's salary and benefits, and the school district shall reimburse the city 50% of the school resources officer's annual salary and benefits on or before March 1st of each school year. This agreement remains in effect.
And it seems to me there's a, you know, procedural mechanics of that we need to figure out. When, you know, March 1st might have some bearing on the school district's fiscal year, but sort of in the middle of everything for you guys. And definitely not in the middle of this school year when the school resource officer is gonna be providing those services. So, you know, I leave that to you as to when, you know, you would want to bill the school district, when you would expect the school district to pay you, and those issues. So that needs to be discussed.
One thing we did talk about with Angel was actual billing. Should we just, I mean, we don't have a billing software. I mean, should it just be like a letter and say, hey, you know, pursuant to this agreement, you owe us X number of dollars, $35,000?
There's no reason not to, unless they want something more detailed or specific, but, you know, I think that we'd be within their rights to know, well, let's break this down, how much of it is for benefits, how much of it is for salary.
Salary.
But, you know, they may not really care, because, you know, a lump sum might be
Yeah,
easier for them to do.
for them to do, okay.
So, that, I guess, and then, I have drafted the ordinance that basically authorizes the mayor to enter into this agreement. It does give him the opportunity to make minor, changes. Again, the way these things end up being
Yeah.
negotiated is a little bit awkward, because I have to get your approval, but they haven't approved it yet, and they may want to make changes, and so there's still a little back and forth. This does allow for those minor, non-substantive, I think.
Changes, it can't change the substance. of-
Non-material and non-substantive changes, without coming back here, but if they say, no, we wanna have more control over this officer, or something like that, then you'd have to come back here, so.
The school board meeting is on Monday, May 15th. You know, I encourage any of you to go. I don't believe that I can make it, but I encourage you guys to go and see it, because the plan is that if we end up passing this, I'll have Janet take it over tomorrow or within the next couple of days to Dr. Heck, so we'll need to give this to her this week.
And
so.
she has looked at a
Yeah.
version of it and sent back a few requested changes, some of which.
But she hasn't seen this new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she did go a couple of things, so, but yeah, so hopefully, I don't look for there to be anything drastically changed. They did correct the spelling error, Gary was in it, so.
That was their spelling error.
That was error, yes, not ours, it was definitely theirs, so. Anyway, we also did talk about our insurance, you know, you can see that on the party, each party shall keep and maintain general liability insurance in an amount not less than $3 million per occurrence, and in the aggregate, and shall name the other party as an additional insured by endorsement. Proof of this insurance will be provided by each party upon request. So just to make sure that if anything does go berserk, we've got, you know, we're covered through our insurance.
And just to clarify that, we did contact the insurance, Janet.
Yes,
did,
Janet did.
Your insurance carrier, to look this over and give us any suggestions, and they said this is fine, it's fairly standard, so long as it has those kind of clauses in it. We met.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Kind of what I'm thinking, just to kind of give you an outline, if this passes, we will advertise after the 15th. We wanna make sure that the school is on board with this, so we don't wanna do anything prematurely. So we could start advertising, let's say the 16th. And then maybe by the middle part of June, we will then interview. We'll have the police chairman, myself, and the police chief sit in on an interview. We will then bring, 2 candidates to the board, and the plan is that we will vote for them at the July meeting, is kind of what I'm thinking. Because they want somebody in place by basically August the 1st. So I think if we keep with that time frame, that will satisfy all parties. So, go ahead, Gary, you got something?
We had talked in finance about,
Mhm.
the salary and stuff. I finally did get a hold of, some of the research data on the salaries around the state comparable. So at our salary level, they will be one of the top 5% paid school resource officers in the state of Illinois.
Wow.
The average, because I actually found that the average salary school resource officer in the state of Illinois is $37,800.
Wow.
The top 2% is $55,000.
Yeah.
Those were both in Chicago suburbs.
Cool.
So, something to think about.
Yeah, it is something to think about. One thing that we can do, like I said, it's like we do with every employee that before we hire them, we can talk salary with them. I mean, what Mawika was paying, we can let it be Mawika, we can do our own thing, we can pay them the same as what Mawika was paying. But once we get those, we were talking about it in an interview, when it's the 3 of us, and then bring it forward to the council and see if they accept it or not, So, but thank you, Gary. All right, if there's no other discussion, we'll, move to accept a motion to accept the terms and conditions of the school resource officer.
I make that motion to approve the terms of the resource officer.
Have a second? All second? All right,
I just have a quick question.
okay.
Will this officer be required to attend, evening functions?
Yeah, so what we're looking at doing is a 9-month position, salaried position. Let's say, for example, let's just make it easy. Today, they would have worked 7:30 to 3:30, and there's a track meet. They would be required to come back for the after-school events. So with it being salaried, obviously some days are gonna have 10, 12-hour days, volleyball games, matches, basketball game in the fall. But then they'll make it up when school's not in session and there are no events. We have a couple of early out days a month, Easter break, talking with somebody else in regard to this. In the fall, we have fall baseball, different things like that. So I wouldn't say the high school resource officer would have more events, but they may, because the high school, they will have events during Christmas break, where the middle school typically doesn't. So it will wash out in the interim, but they're primarily, they are going to be a school resource officer. We won't pull them on the street unless there's a major emergency, and then we would lock the school down anyway. So we've talked about having the option to maybe hire them back
Yeah.
hourly if we need them for the fest or different events. But our goal here is, hey, let's get somebody in the school. We can't expect them to pay them hourly for 12-hour days for multiple days. So we're gonna make it a salary position. They know that coming in, but they will be off when school's not in session and there are no events going on there. Yeah.
Will the officer carry a fire
Yes, they will, yes.
and a
they're
body
required.
cam?
Yes, they will be a full officer, yeah. So the requirements for the state to be a school resource officer is 3-year experience at the minimum. They could give them a waiver if they have the training, which is a 40-hour school resource officer class, another 24 hours for juvenile certification, and then any additional, I know they have to have active shooter training and things like that first aid. They will be a full officer that's already certified.
Okay.
We cannot put a brand new officer in there. We couldn't put Jackson in there. It has to be somebody with experience. So.
I'm sure it's in here, probably all that is in here, but I just haven't read it.
None of that's in there, that's per the state
It's per the
training.
state statute.
Yeah,
Okay.
state statute. And I know, somebody had mentioned, hey, the control for the city, the school really couldn't ever have total control anyway, because they're not a police department. If they chose to do armed security, that's a completely separate ballgame. They would not be a school resource officer then, so.
And just to clarify, this is the intergovernmental agreement with the school district. This is the relationship between the two entities.
Right.
The actual nuts and bolts, that's up to the chief
Okay,
and the state law.
thank you for clarifying.
I have a question, Derek.
Go ahead.
Is there language in here, since this is technically a renewable agreement every year, is there language in there as to when we have to notify if we're gonna pick this up each year, or how that works?
Yes, it says either party can, if you go under two, under miscellaneous, section C, either party can revoke or terminate the agreement by March 1st for the following school year. And then it said, A,
On that.
yes, automatically renews, becomes, renew the next school year and each succeeding school year unless revoked or terminated as set forth below.
So we set it up that we don't have to
We don't have to keep
do
renewing it.
anything, it's just, okay. That's what we wanted to try and do.
All right, so we have a motion, and we have a first and a second. So if there's no other discussion, Brian, you got anything else you wanna add, or
Oh no,
anything?
any other questions, let me know, so.
I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's sad that we're here doing it, you know, just in the state of the world, but it is a good thing for the